G'day all you beautiful people, Daz here. I've got the glasses on and a very happy New Year's Eve to you all when this video comes out. Of course, I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you end the year as fantastically as you can. And then, of course, 2022 is going to be the year of the Daz Talks Footy community. I can feel it right in here. But in today's video, just like in the title, I'm going to talk about the 5 teams that I'm looking forward to watching in 2022 the most. And a couple of caveats here. And the first one is Hawthorn aren't going to be on this list. They're my team. No shit, I'm going to want to watch them. Like, I wouldn't patronize you guys by going, the number one team I'm looking forward to watching the most is Hawthorn. None of that shit. And number 2 is, again, this is purely opinionated. I try to watch, I know this is going to sound sad, but 6 full games a weekend. And the highlights of the other 3, my weekends are pretty damn boring if you can't figure it out from a social standpoint, but from a footy standpoint, jam-packed, and I absolutely love it. So Hawthorn won't be in the list, and I like to think that I'm going to watch a lot of teams live a lot during the year, but if I have to do a top 5 of the teams I'm looking forward to the most, this is how it would go, and they are in order from 5 to 1. Let's go. Number 5 is Melbourne. Psychologically, really important to know how a reigning premier goes the next season, of course, but the thing that we do need to know, and we can look back on the history books and look here, is that there always seems to be a circuit breaker in between dynasties. You look at Brisbane from 01 to 04, it then went Sydney West Coast, 05, 06, the circuit breaker, and then we went into the next dynasty of Geelong, 07, 8, 9, 10, even though they weren't as good in 10, but still a good team, and then won it in 11. We had the circuit breaker of Sydney in 2012. Maybe Sydney are just the circuit breakers and we should jump on them for the flag now. And then we had Hawthorn, 13, 14, 15. And then 16, we had the Bulldogs, which were the circuit breaker for Richmond, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I know in 18 they didn't win it, but you know, they beat everyone in Australia. They just couldn't beat an American. So, is 2021 the circuit breaker for Melbourne? And then we get a new dynasty beginning, a Bulldogs, Brisbane, or Port Adelaide, for example, potentially. So, I'm really interested to see how the Ds go. I don't think they're a lock for the flag yet. I don't think anyone is. You can't win a flag in December, but you certainly can lose it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they bounce back because they're going to go from the hunter to the hunted. And psychologically, that is a big shift on players and people. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Demons go, and that's why they're my number 5. Number 4, yep, the Giants. Now, I think my reasoning for the Giants is going to be different for a lot of people because when Leon Cameron wasn't taking these star-studded Giants teams to flags, he was copping a little bit of criticism, but I'm noticing that the better the Giants team on paper looks, the worse they play. Leon Cameron got criticised for not being able to drive the Lambo. It looks like he's better at driving a Lancer than a Lambo at this stage because, and that's no offence to anyone who owns a Mitsubishi Lancer, of course, but when you look at the Giants game against Geelong last year at Cardinia Park, they had like 11 of their best 22 out. It wasn't probably that much, I'm probably exaggerating, but they had at least 8, I know that for sure, out. And Geelong did not look like winning that game for 3 quarters. They had a couple of momentum swings, couldn't get it done, but the Giants played really great football. They started getting players back, and they didn't look as strong to me. So with Cornelio coming back, they're going to have as fit a list, I think, as you can have coming into round 1. Do they play better with all these young kids blooded? They've got Callaghan, they've got Alir, they've got Faye that have come in. Their backline, Sam Taylor, young gun. Nick Haynes is that older veteran guy who can help out the young kids. Connor Iden's a good player. Lockie Ash, genuine gun. Isaac Cumming had a breakout year last year. So they've got a pretty young defense. I do worry about their tall forward stocks a lot, though. So I don't think the Giants are going to go places. But I'm looking forward to sort of after the first 6 weeks when injuries really start hitting clubs, do the Giants play better with the kids than they do with their experienced players? Because if they do, they're going to have to make some moves potentially in the offseason because I like this young Giants group and I'm looking forward to seeing them. Number 3, the Bombers. Yep, I have no idea what to expect from Essendon this year because natural improvement tells me they should finish around 6th. But the thing is with especially teams that finish 8th on the ladder, they are essentially a wild card coming into the season after. The Bombers have got the kind of squad, and I think the kind of coaching. I think Ben Rutten went under the radar last year for how well he coached in games at times. But the Bombers could finish anywhere from 6th to 12th next year, and it wouldn't surprise me. And that's what makes them such a fascinating team to watch in 2022. They could be anywhere, and I'm here for the ride. I know as a Hawthorn fan, we're not really supposed to, look at Essendon with any sort of excitement, but I wasn't around for the 80s, so my hatred for Essendon is probably lesser than older Hawthorn fans. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where they are at, and I'm also looking forward to them throwing buckets of cash at Ben King and getting him for 2023. So, looking forward to seeing what the Bombers do here. I really like their defense. I really like Sam Draper. I think he's going to have a Sean Darcy type year and win Essendon's best and fairest. I think too many of their midfielders are going to be fighting for, those sort of votes, if you will. And they don't have a dominant forward that's going to take the piss and win the BNF that way. So, there's a little smoky for you. Sam Draper for the Essendon best and fairest. Number 2, Richmond. I know. Before you comment, I know, but this is the epitome of one last chance. This Richmond team haven't been, like a Geelong who have been around for a decade, keep topping up. Richmond took all 5 of their top 30 picks into the draft and used them on players that are going to replace the guys in their team, barring taking a full forward. They didn't take Jack Williams. Now, that tells me that they are more than happy for when Riewoldt goes to get Lynch and use him as the only sort of tall and use athletic types around him, kind of what they did with Jack in 2017. But this current group, Riewoldt's getting older, Trent Cotchin's getting older. The fabric of this side is going to be tested all year. We don't know what's going on psychologically with Damien Hardwick's situation. There was a correlation between the story breaking about him and his wife breaking up and the team going backwards. That's just a fact. That's not me trying to spread gospel or anything like that. When the story broke, I think they only won 3 of their next 8. There's going to be reasons for that. I know they had injuries, but guess what, Richmond fans? I know you didn't hear about it in 2017, 18, and 19, but people get injuries. So I think Richmond are a top 4 team. Right now, as we sit here, they're in my top 4. And if they're there and they win the flag, we have to admit they're one of the best teams of all time. Now, talent-wise, you look at the other dynasties, they're probably not there. But to win 4 in 6 in the manner of which they would have to do so would just be incredible. Or, on the flip side, they could fall off the cliff. And as someone who's been a bit of a critic of Richmond in the past, I'd really like to see that. So whether Richmond finish 4th or 14th or anywhere in between, they fascinate me. That's why they're on the list. And last but not least, who am I looking forward to watching the most in 2022? Now, if someone had told me this is what the list would look like in, say, July of 2021, I would have smacked you, because this team at this point, at, sort of July last year, weren't really a team that I was seeking out to watch. But I looked at their last couple of drafts. Oh, their drafts have been really good. I look at their list. Their list is pretty good now. They're starting to fill list holes. They do have some injuries down back which need to be addressed, and if they can stay fit, they look okay. They're a really gelled group. They've just re-signed their coach. Things are looking in an upward direction. But I'm sorry, it's finals or massive disappointment, and that's Freo. I love everything that Freo have done in the last couple of years. I don't mind letting Adam Chera go. You're going to give Caleb Sarong a bigger role. You've drafted Matty Johnson and Neil Erasmus. Things are going well. Jai Miss needs to play early. For crying out loud, please let him play early. Rory Lobb is not the answer for finals. He's just not. I'm really sorry. That's not how it works. Matt Taberner needs to be that second forward. So I do worry that they don't have a number 1 forward yet. Josh Tracy looks like a forward ruck type. Matt Taberner is an athletic second or third tall, and Rory Lobb ain't a first tall. I think Jai Miss can get there, but to expect someone in his first season to do that is just extraordinary. So, whilst I'm not saying Freo can win the flag or anything like that, I feel like if Freo do get their maiden premiership like they put in their 5-year plan, I think we're going to look at 2022 as the catalyst to send them forward. And if they do win their first flag, I don't think Fife and Mundy are in that team, which is probably a big call, but that's where I stand. So Freo are the team that I'm looking forward to watching the most. I really hope they go upward. I think they're a smoky for that 7th or 8th spot on the ladder. So that's why they are number 1 on my list. So that's it, guys. What do you think? What team, apart from your own, are you looking forward to watching in 2022? Who do you think are going to be the exciting teams? Who do you think is going to bring people through the gate? My fingers, toes, and everything is crossed that we can have a normal season. All the games can be done. I know it's a long shot, and I'm not going to get into COVID at all. This isn't a COVID channel, it's a footy channel. All I do is hope that all of us can get to the footy as many times as we possibly can to cheer on our teams. Who are you looking forward to watching? It can be a player, it can be a team, it could be a coach. What do you think? Comment below, let me know. Stay safe, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic end to the year and an even better start to 2022. I know we will. SuperCoach previews are coming very, very quickly, which I can't wait for. So until then, goodbye.